Hello guys! Kumusta kayo guys? How are you? Today is August 16. Bilis ng panahon. I'm going to start the update with Philippine airports to be assessed by U.S. Transport Security. Do you guys notice? When going back to the U.S., for kababayans based in the U.S., you're going back to the U.S. and there is a very strict inspection of your bags. How many times do you have to open your bags? I've noticed it is a common complaint among PAL passengers. Going back to the US daw, napakahaba, napakatagal ng inspections. Very strict. Now, what about that, Jennifer? Well, it's connected with the US Transport Security po. There is an ongoing 7-day security assessment by the United States TSA. So, airport security assessments po is going on right now to observe security procedure as well as airlines with flights to and from the United States. So, representatives of TSA are here in the Philippines po. They're doing the assessments to strengthen the collaboration among airport authorities and airlines. According to Transportation Secretary Jaime Bautista, they are hopeful that the Philippines would pass this assessment. According to him, it's an assessment they started yesterday. Tinitingnan lang nila if there are any improvements in the way we implement security measures in the airport. Ayan. If ever the Philippines passes this assessment, if the TSA is satisfied with the security program implementation, there might be some easing up of procedures in the airport. Kasi right now, the Philippines, we are the only airport in Asia where there are so many screenings being done because it is a requirement of the TSA. Hopefully, we pass that requirement and they won't be that strict anymore. There won't be that too many screenings. How many times you guys have to open your bags? I've heard so many complaints for kababayans. Now, in the last security assessment, it was in February 2020, so it happens every 2 years. The USA TSA noted that there has been a significant improvement. Countries that fail this assessment are usually downgraded and flights to and from it are either subject to rigid inspection or reduced. Ako, sana pumasa tayo. Yeah, airlines or airport authorities should pass this assessment. It would ease the burden to our kababayans and it would uplift our travel industry. Speaking of US, the US CDC, guys, Philippines is classified as high risk for COVID. The US CDC has added 3 countries, including the Philippines, Russia, and Nepal, and its Level 3 COVID high list po. Meaning, it's not just people who are from America who should be concerned. All over, guys, every one of you po, the message is, our cases are rising again. It has been quite a while, actually. You just don't hear that much often in the news. COVID-19 is dying out. Parang hindi na masyadong pinag-uusapan, pero it's very, very real. The threat is still here and it's very real. Currently, we have 38 or 39,000 active cases in the country. We're seeing once again a spike in infections. Of course, it's because of the presence of variants, increased mobility, and then waning vaccine immunity, no? Not a lot of people are getting vaccinated now. Most people got vaccinated, towards second or third quarter of 2021 or first quarter of 2022. Well, by this time, the effectivity of the vaccine is lower na. Kasi matagal na. With this, guys, you are reminded or recommended to be up to date to your vaccinations before you travel to Pinas. While the Philippines still requires masks, so you have no choice but to wear that. And if you are somebody po with weak immune system or at risk for severe diseases, talk to your doctor about getting vaccinated or getting your booster shot. But I don't want to sound so bad. Actually, guys, the cases have improved na since then. We've seen that July 30 to August 6, it was the highest that we've had, the positivity rate, 18.7. But actually, last week was an improvement. We've seen a decrease po. The positivity rate is slowly na po nagde-decline. Hopefully, this trend will continue. However, a 14% or an 80% positivity rate is still high. So guys, mask up, no? Now, if somebody isn't feeling well, move away from them or wear a mask when you talk to them. I learned that the hard way. Well, speaking of vaccinations, not a lot of people here are getting vaccinated. 20 million vaccine doses gone to waste. No procurements for now. The government will not buy any more COVID-19 vaccines this year after the wastage of over 20.66 million doses. Yeah. Well, some of these vaccines were donated, some were bought by the local government, by the private sectors, but it's cost us a lot of money, billions and billions of pesos. So, DOH says no more vaccine procurement this year. Di na sila bibili for the rest of this year. Well, speaking of vaccine, this has been asked a lot of times. Travelers ask me, Jennifer, I just got vaccinated last month. I am due to travel to the Philippines. I am not yet eligible for booster because you have to wait for like 3 months, diba? 6 months per booster, depends on the country. Jennifer, I just received my second dose. I'm fully vaccinated. Would I be exempted from testing, pre-departure testing, since I am not eligible for booster yet? No, it doesn't matter when you got vaccinated, even if you got vaccinated just 14 days after. It doesn't matter, guys. It's not really about when you got vaccinated, it's about how many doses you receive. So if you got 3 doses, whether that was 2021 pa, it's still recognized you are considered fully vaccinated with booster, therefore exempted from testing. Kahit pa last year pa yung booster mo, recognized pa rin yan, hindi na e-expire. Di kagaya sa ibang bansa na kailangan up to date ka, kailangan 6 months. Walang ganun. Sa Pilipinas, basta may booster ka, yan na yun. While fully vaccinated means 2 doses, unvaccinated or partially vaccinated means 1 dose or no dose at all. Of course, J&J is an exemption. 1 dose of J&J and then you're already considered fully vaccinated. So yan po, if you have only 2 shots, first dose and second dose, you need pre-departure testing if you're an adult, okay? Moving forward with the CDC's recommendation, guys, it's up to you to follow it. Yes, we're high risk. Yes, we're having more cases. 14%, 18%, it means that for every 100 persons that get tested, 18 doon nagpa-positive. Yun yung simple statistic. Pero even despite of that, Philippines sees more long-haul arrivals. Ayan. More travelers from the North America, from Canada, from Europe, from US are arriving in the Philippines. Tourist profiles to the Philippines have changed, dominated by long-haul source markets and balikbayans. You guys! Since the country opened our borders, the Philippines seen more travelers from North America and Europe than its Asians counterpart. Remember before the tourists were dominated by South Koreans, Chinese, but that is not the situation right now. Numbers from Department of Tourism reveals that the number 1 tourist market at the moment is Americans, Canadians, then British, Australians, and South Korean. Of course, our Asian counterparts like Chinese, Taiwanese, Hong Kong, their countries, they still have strict travel restrictions, but the Department of Tourism is not worried and they are confident that the revival of our tourism industry is still possible because of domestic tourism. We can survive with our domestic market alone because Filipinos, specifically the middle and upper class markets, will spend to travel. Now that they're traveling in the Philippines, domestic tourism will sustain the industry. That's good to hear. Anyways, speaking of Asian country, Taiwan, it's a good news for travelers going to Taiwan. All travelers coming to Taiwan will no longer be required to present a negative test result. However, travelers arriving in Taiwan would still need to isolate and 4 days of self-prevention after landing in Taiwan. Stricto pa rin na. Pero that's an improvement. So this is all the update, guys. First, US TSA is doing an assessment. Hopefully that we will pass, and that screening for your luggages, your bags, for your going to the US won't be that strict anymore if we pass that assessment. Second, yes, there is an increase of cases in the Philippines. Mask up, always wash your hands, sanitizer, ganun lang naman talaga yung COVID. And then, stay away from people who are sick. And people who are sick should wear mask. Ganun. And that is all the update for today, guys. I hope this video gave you information. But don't worry po, travel to the Philippines pa rin. God bless you all and stay safe.